Hello and welcome to the Bee Formless Flow Driven CEO slash VC podcast. I am welcoming to the show today. I'll say today rather than this evening because it is morning for you, Andy. Andy Lurling, welcome to the show, Andy.
Thank you for having me.
No, thank
Great to be
you.
here.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny, isn't it? You're actually currently in Eindhoven, which is the origins of Philips, and it's freezing cold over there. You just said there's white snow everywhere. And here I am sweating it out here in Australia because we're at the height of our summer. So it's fun.
Life's unfair, I would say then.
Yeah, you're like wanting to be in the summer, and I'm like, and then I'm talking to you about skiing and snowboarding a pre-show. But anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. I feel very honored and privileged to have you chatting with me today, and I think it's going to be a great conversation, Andy. Let's get into it. As the founding partner of LUMO Labs, I love the name, by the way, and I am going to ask you how you came up with the business name, but which is Eindhoven based, but you're not there at the moment. You said you were in Belgium. And essentially, it's an impact driven VC and venture builder that you co founded back in, well, 10 years ago, it's 2016, with your partner Sven Backus. Yeah. And Lumo invests at pre seed, seed, and it runs a tailored hands on program for founding teams focusing on emerging tech across. Now, bear with me, everybody. AI data, XR, robotics, drones, lot and digital security aligned with UN SDGs. You can explain all of this, Andy. Forgive me. Through its first fund, Lumo backed 23 impact driven startups and the likes of Alphabeats, AOSIN, Auto Subscriber, and Enliven, and in 2024 announced the €100 million Lumo Rise Fund to support 30 to 35 European startups over 4 years. Pretty big ambitious goals there as well. Tell us a bit about your journey and how you came into Lumo Labs.
Yeah, thanks. Good summary. Um, I originally started at PwC
Oh,
as a consultant and project manager um, after my studies, which is similar what you nowadays would call data science. Um, and I think it's very good to start at a big corporate, especially as a consultant, because I had the opportunity to see a lot of companies in a short time, in a short period of time, and learn about the dynamics and politics within those big
yeah.
corporates. But I also very fast had the feeling, okay, this is not for me. And I come from a family of chartered accountants. Uh, so I was very familiar with the
Yeah.
concept of PwC. But I also thought like, oh, okay, this is not going to be my world. And then I had the opportunity to start working for a startup that just had their Series A to become a scale up, um, where I a tech company where I had the opportunity to work very closely with both the founder
Oh, good.
and the investor. And I really believe that that's where my entrepreneurial spirit
Yeah.
started to awake. Um, and um, After a few years, I was asked to do a review of what the company was supposed to focus on in the future, to have like a strategy session. And I thought I can just think of that myself, but I have all these clients. Why don't I go to the clients to see what they want and how they see their future,
Okay.
so that I can adjust the story to what they want? Because we had to work with those
Yeah,
clients.
absolutely.
Um, and I think that went pretty well because although the founder of the company decided differently, the clients came to me like, okay, but you promised that you would go that way, and I had to explain them, okay, that was not a promise, that was like a survey. But apparently they really wanted to go that way.
Yeah, 100%.
And two of them, and that was a former Vodafone guy, a former Endemol, the media production company producer. They said, okay, but we believe that that's what you came up with was very interesting. We want to start a company in that. And then they asked me to join as a junior
Wow.
founder, which I did.
How old were you,
Um,
Andy? Sorry, how old were you at this point? Mind me asking? Were you like, how young were you? I should say not yet old.
I was 29, I guess,
Wow. Okay.
about 29, I would say. Um, and that was a learning journey as entrepreneur. Also learning how to not do things, to be honest, because the two other founders, the more senior people, were both people with a very corporate background. And in the end, in hindsight, I would say, I believe I was the more entrepreneurial guy, but I had quite a lot of respect for them because they were and older and had all that experience with big brands. Um, and in the end, I would say it was a very good exercise for me. Uh, uh, and I think we did a lot of great stuff, but financially it was not a good result. Uh, we made an asset deal in the end to not get bankrupt. Let's put it that way.
Wow. Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, but but I had a good learning, and then after those 3 years, I thought now I'm ready to do it myself.
Yeah, you almost did the traineeship, right? Like you almost did the
I was for
apprenticeship.
me, yeah.
Yeah, I always look at it
And
like
to
that.
be honest, I wanna learn every day
Yeah.
still, and I believe you can learn from everybody. Yeah. So
Yeah, I agree.
now I'm the investor, but I also learn from the young entrepreneur still.
Best of both
So I
worlds.
believe uh, we have to stay young. We have to stay
Yeah.
focused, and I believe that staying curious really helps in finding your way through life, in my opinion, and that contains learning every day.
Yeah.
But okay, afterwards, I started founded my own company, and then Sven, who's today still my uh, uh, co-founding partner and partner in the VC fund, joined as first employee, but he also bought some shares, so he was a co-founder. Um, then we are talking about 2005 now, I guess. So 2005, 2006. So we are 20 years. We know each other 25 years this year, and we are constantly working
Wow.
together for the last 20 years. But yeah, we set up a company, tech company, also the first 100,000 from the European Space Agency. It's not the same as the NASA, but still. And then yeah, had the first clients, had a Series A investment in Germany, had to move the headquarters to Germany, uh, and in the end had opportunity to sell our equity in 2011. That was, uh, and after that, and I really was like sometimes in 3 planes a day, airplanes, um, um, and traveling
Yeah, a
really a
lot.
lot.
Yeah.
So it was like a very intense, hectic
Yeah.
6 year period, 6, 7 year periods. And after that, I thought, okay, now I'm gonna rest.
Yeah.
And um,
Because
um,
when you sold your equity, assuming that you were 100% acquired, like did you have to do an earn-out period? Like was there a long like was it like how
yeah, no, just um, it was for me just half a year.
oh that's good.
For the CTO, it was a bit longer,
Yeah.
but I was the CEO, and so it was for me. My job was more or less done, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so I could get out pretty early on. And the fun part was that I became a father November 2010, when I was in the process of selling off. And then in that first half a year, I didn't see my son, and you're gonna start laughing because he had the same
Yeah.
story before.
Yeah.
Um, and then I thought, okay, until my son goes to school, I don't want to.
Not miss out.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't want to do a lot of other things. Of course, I did some advisory here and there, but
Yeah.
I want to stay focused on being a dad, and also restore my energy, etc., etc. Because it was really a hectic time, of course. But also spend time with my son. And when he went to school, then I thought like, okay, now I have to start to get a bit more serious again because I was 38 when I sold the company, or sold back.
Really? Can we pause there for a
So
second? Because actually have a couple of questions on that, right?
yeah,
Because I've spoken to a few people about this in terms of like, I told you I took a life break for 12 months and, I reflect now, and at the time I was like, it was a bit of a like, it was almost grief in a way because you were like so used to the pace and the hustle and how you were always on, and then you slow down, and find your purpose, your prioritization, etc. What was that like for you? Because I also was exhausted, and there was a period where I was just having just to recover in bed. Really, I just was so exhausted. But like, was there any like during that period of just having time out, did you actually just not even like were you able just to switch from this entrepreneur, fast-paced entrepreneur into just then being a dad and spending time with the family, etc.? Or was it a bit of a journey to get yourself to chill, relax, and actually enjoy being present in the moment?
I think you know the answer. No, that's of course not from one day to the other. From like traveling really around the world to
Yeah.
stay in one place, from having I don't know how many calls and meetings a day to maybe one or two. Um, I always say when I was young, I was a fairly good soccer player, and I played some regional teams
Yeah, right.
and trained with some pro teams. Um, and had the luck to speak with quite some top sports people. And I think it's entrepreneurship is like top sports. And
Mm,
also the period after that you stop, you of course get the total hormonal disbalance from all the dopamine, and I don't know
yeah.
what has to be made. Um, and in sports, I don't know really the English term, but literally translated from Dutch, it's the black hole. Like that you get to this period that you don't have an idea
Yeah.
what's next. And of course, if you have then a young son, then of course you can focus
Yeah.
on that. But to be honest, at that point, I I thought, okay, I have to do something at one point, but I didn't have a clue.
Yeah.
And then maybe I had the luck that I had 4 years to think about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I have to say that um, after that 4 years, and I was of course always in contact with Sven, and we did some advisory roles here and there, but we both sat together and we said, okay, what we really like is to create from nothing or almost nothing something. So that early stage from startup to scale up
Yeah.
was really what we enjoyed best. And we were asked for advice. And one point we said, okay, hey, we have this experience, we have the knowledge, we have the network. I've got to mention that we had an solution for, amongst others, the motorsports world. So I was traveling a lot, also to the circuits and met a lot of interesting people
Yeah, you
at
would
the
have.
VIP
Yeah.
parties. So the network was quite extensive globally also. And so we said we have all that, and um, but we didn't have really a good idea for starting a new enterprise. And then we said, okay, but if we have all that, why don't we start helping other
Mm,
startups that we believe in and entrepreneurs that we believe in, and help them with our experience, knowledge, and network, and putting in a bit of our own money. And that's how LUMO Labs more or less started. That we said, okay, we we give some pre-seed money in that period. So the first 200, 300,000 euros. But not only money, we give them also advice and network. And that ended up in program um, based on four pillars. And it's like a menu card. We are not an accelerator, we are not an incubator. It's more or less a menu card um, based on well, four pillars and an integral part being impact. uh, but excellent leadership, product market fit, marketing storytelling, and follow-on investment. And every month we do check-ins, and every quarter nowadays we ask the teams to fill in a form, and based on the form, more or less, we know what they are struggling with, and
mm,
when we know that, then we can help them
yeah.
in that solving that struggle. And nowadays we have now 30 companies. So where originally we did it ourselves, we gathered group of venture advisors amongst us, most of them being former or still entrepreneurs that want to give back
Yeah.
um, and to share their stories.
Yeah.
And what we noticed is if we bring a consultant to an entrepreneur, then the entrepreneur is more or less blocked because that consultant wants to sell me something. And by putting an entrepreneur with an entrepreneur, they're going to share stories
Yeah.
and experiences. And and then the new entrepreneur, more or less, they will realize, like, okay, oh, I'm not the only one with this problem. That's
No.
already nice. I'm not the only one with this
Yeah,
problem.
yeah. It's like
Uh,
a lived, oh,
and
it's lived experience, isn't it? It's shared lived experience. And I think that's so important
exactly,
because there's nothing worse when you
yeah,
have a consultant saying to you, you're not doing this right or you're not doing that right. And you're like, how
exactly,
would you even know? You've not been in my
exactly.
shoes before.
And then And then if you have like the more experienced entrepreneur that said, okay, I recognize what you just said, and I had the same problem back then, and then I just say something. And wow, here, Sophie's jacket, this is the tool I used to solve it. And then we more or less most of the time have the same model as that consultant immediately would come with, but then it's placed in context that the new entrepreneur says, oh, okay,
Yeah,
I'm going to use that. And
yeah,
it's acceptance because entrepreneurs need to be a bit stubborn, you know? So, so when a consultant comes in, they more or
yeah,
less
yeah,
they will be reactionary, like, oh my God. And if it's entrepreneur to entrepreneur, then the acceptance rate will be higher. And that's where I really believe that where really like the extraordinary power of Lumo is in that because it's not only giving money, but really helping the startups at the moment that they need it. We were in the European Space Agency incubator. We were in the incubator of Delft University in the Netherlands. And there we had to go uh, through a special program where all the startups at that point, at the same time, had to go to that program. And for me, I was still developing an algorithm and I had to go to a marketing class. And I thought that was disruptive. That was not helping me
doesn't
at that
make
point.
sense. No. Oh, so you
Doesn't
actually,
make
oh, sorry.
sense.
So you actually went through incubators yourself, you and your business
Yeah,
partner to,
yeah,
yeah, right. There you go. Yeah,
yeah.
it's very cookie
And
cutter, isn't it, in a way?
yeah, and we thought we have to turn it around. We have to
Yeah.
deliver the knowledge when the need is there to deliver the knowledge. Because then it can be used immediately.
Yeah.
and that in my opinion is the difference. And that's you asked for the name where LUMO Labs comes from, because we just started, and then at one point people asked us, "Okay, what's your name?" And we thought, like, okay, we need to have a name. It became a bit more serious. And Lumo is Esperanto and Latin for light and
Yeah, I thought
enlightening.
illumination or something, illuminating. Yeah,
Exactly, eliminating and uh, of course we help the startups to make it a bit more
you
easy.
light them up.
And
Yeah.
Lumo as light. Philips, of course, was the from the light bulbs, and we were with our first office in the video lab where the video and the CD-ROM was invented. So we thought light, Philips, and link to Lumo, to Philips with Lumo and labs, because we were in a lab. We were spinning out new companies. Um, nowadays we are with our headquarters in the former Philips R&D site. So more or less Lumo Labs still
Makes
is
sense. Well, it makes
pretty
sense
applicable.
completely. I really love your pillars, like your hands-on program and the ability to, have lots of different conversations. And I love your thoughts on this, but the practicality of it, because you called out your pillars around excellent leadership, market story. It's not just marketing. What's your story? Like it's so important. And
Yeah,
as part of your market story, it's the story of the entrepreneur, but also the business, because generally the
yeah,
entrepreneur is the story, is the business. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
then the ability to have that
And the
product market
purpose.
fit. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Fully agree. And if you then understand that we typically invest in engineers, so engineering teams that
Yeah.
started a company, um, then most of the time the tech element is very well in the team. But marketing for some of the teams is still a bit a strange
Yeah.
duck in that
Yeah.
sense. So we make them aware that um, that to form a business culture uh, for the company, a company culture, I have to say, and to also attract talent, which is scarce. Um, it's very important
Yeah, I agree.
to set your marketing strategy
Yeah.
very early on. So that's for internal use, but of course also for external use, and
Yeah.
especially because we are a so-called tech impact fund, we want to bring in the impact element
Yeah.
into that marketing strategy. Also,
Andy, tell us a little bit about the impact piece, because obviously, and I'd love your thoughts, because you're in obviously tech and emerging. There's a lot of like everything you called out on emerging tech across all the various whatever what I reeled off before. Talk to me about how was impact, like, was that like of the pillars? I mean, obviously they're all very important, but you and your business partner Sven, when did you like what made you think about what I guess brought you into impact as well? Like impact in good for the planet, good for like what was the impact based on? Good for
well,
society, you know what I mean?
I think when you become a father, your life changes because it's not about your own life anymore. It's about also surviving.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so
you
true.
you 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 become more aware, I guess. And of course, we talk about 2016. And we said, okay, if we then have a bit of the liberty um, to determine more our own course, we said, okay, we have had we had a tech company, so we are familiar with that, and what we then want to focus on. We said we don't want to focus um, on industries and only making money, but we said we want to um, invest in companies that can do good
Yeah,
and for people and for planets. Because if you only focus on people, then it still goes wrong because we have to also focus on planet. It needs to
yeah,
be in harmony and
yeah,
in balance, of course. And and then we were, and I think that came because we both, not only I, he also became a father around that time. So I think we both had that um,
Wake
yeah,
up, the purpose, the lack to finding
yeah,
hope. Yeah, I get it. Yeah,
exactly. And and then I was introduced to a network where I was also invited to the United Nations in New York every year, and there I became aware of the Sustainable Development Goals. And they are not perfect. The last one to say that they are perfect, but they give a framework and they give a direction and a kind of a standard. Then I thought, okay, but that's a very good way to to align uh, purpose with direction. And then we were thinking, okay, where what we invest in, we can contribute the most, and that's why we chose health, well-being, and quality education, sustainable city where we work, where we live, and climate action. And for us, that's climate tech in where we work, where we live. And so really linked to sustainable city because there's a lot of initiatives already to clean up the ocean. Very good. A lot of initiatives to clean up the sky from carbon. Really good. With some perverse incentives there because what if the oceans are clean?
yeah,
So we said we need to go to system change and look at where um, what's the origin, what's the real source of where the pollution takes place. Well, that's for I believe 68% where we work and where we live.
mm, mm,
And especially the new technologies like AI can really help and accelerate the good solutions for that system change. And that's what we started to focus on in that sense. Um, for sustainable city and health and well-being. Um, sorry, sustainable city and climate action. And for health and well-being, we were also looking at okay, what are the mega trends? And the mega trend is that the costs are getting too high, cannot afford it anymore. A lot of people cannot afford it anymore, and there's a lack of health workers. And
yeah,
also there, we saw that especially AI can help to turn our model system change again from curing to prevention because we live
yeah,
in society where the focus is on cure people and not on keeping people healthy.
mm,
And that's more or less what we focus on in both prevention and in early diagnosis, because the earlier you have a diagnosis, the cheaper, but also the faster you recover. And of
yeah.
course, also the bigger the survival rate is.
So,
So
but a
those
couple,
are things
yeah,
that we are looking at, and what we then in the selection of companies that we invest in look at is the business model aligned with the purpose? Because what I always see is okay, this is my business model, this is how I'm gonna make money, and this is how our impact is. And then you get an investor on board that they want to focus on making the money, and then the impact falls away. So it needs to be for us really
come together.
aligned. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I love that. That's so important, isn't it? Because I've always, yeah, like you've always looked at, good for business. It's always been like a bolt on. It's always been an add on. Like back in the, like even
yeah,
when in the old last company I was in, it was like, we need to do this. We need to do,
yeah.
change for good or whatever it was. And it was just always a bolt on. And it's like, no, it's got to be intrinsically linked. I've got a couple of final questions for you. I know it's the start of your day and or you're into the morning. What are you seeing as, I mean, yeah, if I'm talking to everyone about AI, but like emerging tech, like what do you think are the big, can you predict any big mega trends that are coming? Like, I mean, 2025 was pretty wild in terms of just from the year and the way it just the speed of everything from the start to the, finish for 2025. What do you think the big things to look out for or that are coming through this year?
Um,
Or it doesn't
well,
have to be just this year. Like
yeah.
what do you
Now people are talking about the AI bubble, and I think if you look at all new technologies, you always have the Gartner curve. It somehow
yeah,
always works.
yeah.
So I think in this year we'll notice that uh, the that some of the promises will realize that they are not fulfilled yet,
Yeah.
and maybe not by the companies that said some of the companies that said that they would fulfill
Yeah.
it. So I believe there will be kind of a correction
Yeah.
in this year. Um, and all the people that believe that they act from ratio, I'm very convinced that those are the people that are driven by emotions.
Yeah.
And so, so I hope that they have learned by now to keep it easy, because as blockchain is there to stay, also AI is there to stay. But it takes time, and again, AI goes really fast. But then you have people to give those big expectations, and of course, and that they need that to raise more money, and people then give more money, so they gonna, and that's a pressure that's on and on and on. Of course,
Yeah. Not a
that's
good.
not
No.
sustainable. It's not
No.
sustainable.
No.
So we have to become more realistic as a people, as people, I would say, and more, well, let's put it this way, less um, money centered, uh, less value centered as it comes to money, but more looking at value. So I think that's and then the money value will come, you know.
Yeah,
We have to give it more
I
time.
love, yeah, I love hearing that from you and from a VC, and
Yeah,
quite a few of the VCs I've spoken to have said the same thing. Like we're going to see a real, like a lot of these businesses that are AI natives, they're going out guns are blazing, but they're going to drop off
yeah,
because it's like
yeah,
any, like you say, it's like any new tech.
yeah.
But what you're calling out here is you're coming back to impact, purpose. And quite a few of the conversations I've also had is like the value of money and value exchange is going to fundamentally change as well. And less, abundance and money will always be there, but revisiting what is true value, what does that look like, and what does it look like from a human and society and everything
Yeah,
you've
but
talked about. Yeah.
absolutely, and that true value is also the true money value. You know,
Yeah,
instead of
100%.
hyping it and give things
Yeah.
more time. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think we'll see a correction, and then I can only hope that people really are rational and learn from the past, and have learned from the past, which I'm a bit afraid of that they have not, because they are thinking in short term instead of in long term, and we have to, something we should have learned from the past is that the short runs are, it's a marathon, it's not a sprint.
Yeah. Slow and steady. Yeah. Slow and steady
And
wins the race.
so we have to give it time. And this can sound very European for Americans, but we have to realize that it's not the way people and planet to sprint all the time. We have to give it time. It's a marathon. That's one. If you then really look at technologies, I think it's really, we see some developments. Uh, a lot of focus on defense tech, of course, and with that you see a lot of dual use purposes coming up. Um, I really see now that in the health sector, AI is more and more integrated. So I would also say that this would be the year that you really see some changes there. Um, and tech is most of the time not the problem. Eh? It's the human behavior and the
Yeah. Yeah.
and the acceptance of people and professionals there. But I believe you will see a change there. Um, I also would say that uh, governmental, if you look at European Union, I think they are doing a great job in trying to get a more infrastructural approach, instead of that every country or even every company does its own thing, that we
Yeah.
have some structural um, strategically elements that we really start up in a structural way in that sense. So I would say those kind of things I
Yeah,
would
there is. Yeah,
foresee first steps.
yeah, I'll be good to yeah, I mean it's fascinating, isn't it? It's like it's what a time to be alive, right? Like there's so much possibility and I think that, having more of these conversations and reshaping what business and leadership looks like, and but for good, like at the end of the day, for good, like you're saying, that it isn't a marathon. Lastly, last but not least, and because I know we could keep talking, right? But leaderships of today, leaders of tomorrow. You've got a pillar which is, excellent leadership or leadership excellence. What is required? What do you think is required of a leader based on everything you've just been talking about? Like, what do you think? Like, and especially like an entrepreneur as a founder. What do they need? What do they, what makes them, what does success look like for them now versus the old form of success?
Um, well, I would say that um, for and of course I have my colored glasses of Europe, but um, I think it's really important for entrepreneurs to be very ambitious, not ambitious, but very ambitious, and dare to really stick their necks out. Uh, and even if they are very ambitious and only reach 80%, it's better than reaching 100%, which was 50% of the ambitious target. Um, so ambition, very important. Um, for leadership, it's very important, in my opinion, to have the both the business but also the empathic antennas, uh, and to be very aware of your own role and the influence you can have, especially if it comes also to the purpose part, um, and be stubborn but not too stubborn,
Yeah,
listen to good advice,
yeah,
and dare to ask.
yeah,
That I always say that in every interview, you will be surprised how many people are willing to help you, and that doesn't mean that you immediately have to do what somebody tells you, but to absorb it and form your own opinion about that,
yeah,
and to move on. And also, if I look at my journey there, and in the beginning, you are the new entrepreneur, yeah, don't dare to ask that CEO of that company, or you don't dare to ask that very senior person. And then afterwards, somebody came to me who had a very high role in a media company, and he said, why didn't you ask me? I would have helped you." And that opened my eyes. Okay, why didn't I ask? You can always ask. The worst thing that can happen to you is that they say no,
no, exactly. At least you know
and
though,
then
right?
yeah, and then you still are alive and you can go to the next one.
Yeah,
But you
totally.
will be surprised that if you are a decent human being and you ask it in a nice way, and you show that you take up good advice, uh, how many people are willing to help you?
Mm,
It's so important in my being, because nobody can do it alone.
no,
Nobody can do it alone.
I
It's not
agree.
Mark Zuckerberg with Facebook. There's a big team around it. It's not Elon Musk.
No,
There's a
I
big team
agree.
around it.
I
You know,
agree.
so
Yeah.
so and that also normally keeps some people a bit in balance. Also, of course, hopefully. But so I would say that that's one of the most important things for an entrepreneur, to
Ask.
ask around, form your own opinion, go and being able to translate that into good strategy, and help translate that within the company into good execution.
Love it. So good, Andy. Gosh, I feel like we've had a great conversation. I feel like I could keep talking to you, and I feel like I could ask you all these. I've got all these questions I want to ask you separately. If that's okay, I'll find another time. But as someone my own entrepreneur, as you're like it's a journey, that's for sure. And you've provided so much insight, and thank you. And we didn't even get into the 100 million euro Lumo Rise Fund to support the 30 to 35 European startups over 4 years, but it sounds like an amazing opportunity. Well, you're coming into your second year into it. Is there anything you want to share about that? Because I was going to say to you, how do we find out more about Lumo Labs? How do we find out more about you as well?
Well, we are um, as a fund. We all say we are entrepreneur turned investors, of course, and as a fund, we are quite visible, I guess, on LinkedIn
Yep.
to tell about the progress of our portfolio companies. Because in the end, it's not about me. It's not about Lumo. It's about the portfolio
Yeah,
companies because
totally.
those are the gems for the future, and they're gonna make the real impact. And we, as a fund, are just as impactful as the sum of the impact the portfolio companies make. So I would say LinkedIn is a very good um, social medium to find us and to follow us in that sense. Yeah,
Awesome. Thank you.
and myself also in that
Yeah,
sense.
I've got you.
But
I've
it's
got
not
it
about me.
all. I'll share it in the speaker notes. So in the show notes, I should say, not the speaker notes. Andy, thank you so much. I've really enjoyed talking to you. Very
Thank
insightful.
you.
Yeah, really love what you're doing, and
Uh,
wish you utmost success, yeah, this year as well. So thank you.
Same to you, and enjoy the beach later today, tonight for you.
Well, no, I think it's a bit too dark. I'll go tomorrow.
Ah, okay, okay,
When it's 41 degrees, but yeah,
okay.
like enjoy the
Tomorrow then.
snow. Thanks, Andy. Take
Okay.
care.
Ciao,
Bye.
ciao.